Good morning, one and all. I welcome you to the fourth day session of our refresher course on Arduino and its applications. We have almost finished one full unit and also some of the possibilities of simulating the concepts through some tools such as Proteus, or yesterday we discussed about the Tinkercad. Definitely, you could have tried on these on some or the other day. If not, then please try. Now, today we will continue towards the second unit, that is the peripheral interface. So I request our speaker, Mr. Sujit Wag, to start his session. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dhamne sir, for such a warm welcome. And hope you all are good and you are doing good at your home. Stay safe and stay at home only. So that's the right now tagline during this COVID-19 situation, pandemic, we can call. So, as we usually start with, yes, it's the fourth day of the session or the course, I would say. And in today's session, I'm going to throw some light on LCD interfacing, then ADC in ATmega 328p, and the very important UART and the serial communication between Arduino and the PC. Before that, I would like to start every time I used to start with the poll that whether I'm completely audible and its screen visible. So let me ask that question through a poll. So the poll will be enabled for 20 seconds. So please answer the poll question that am I audible and its screen visible, so that it will help me uh, to go ahead. Yes, yes. Almost 27 participants are there, and I'm expecting the poll answer from every one of you over there. Okay, so those who are facing an issue related with the voice not audible and screen not visible, then please reload the session or refresh the page so that it will help you in having a good access to the session. So yes, that was the poll, and we have to start with the quiz first. Yesterday we have conducted a quiz. We are going to have the explanation of that quiz as well. So let's start with the quiz question. The quiz questions are being displayed in front of you. We'll have the discussion on the quiz question, and then we'll go ahead. So yes, that's the quiz question in front of you. Let's start with the first question. Just a moment. Just give me a 10 seconds of time so that I will upload all the documents, and then we can start with the session and the explanation of the contents. Yes, hope you all are enjoying the sessions. If you really like the sessions, do comment out us personally on Dhamne sir's mobile number, or you can also comment out on your WhatsApp group. You might be having WhatsApp group of faculties, so please do recommend. Please do write us about what you feel interesting about our sessions. So really it will motivate us, and it gives us encouragement for the further journey. So Gyanshila Foundation is just an NGO. Through that NGO we are liable for the providing online education, and that at minimum cost or no cost. So please do comment out personally to Dhamne sir's mobile number or on your WhatsApp group. Yeah. So let's start with the quiz explanation first. Yes. The first question which was asked yesterday was the number of digital input output pins in Arduino Uno are. Yes, there are 14 digital pins and those are numbered from D0 to D13. Next question which was asked. So make sure that you have made a full screen. If still you are facing an issue related with the full screen or not visible, then make sure that please make a full screen, hide the user section and hide the comment sections as well. Next question, that port C pins in Atmega 320p is generally used as. So generally they are used as the analog input pins, and we have seen that if it's a 28 pin package, then we do have pins from A0 to A5. These are 6 pins which are used as analog pins. If it is a 32 pin package, then we do have pins from A0 to A7. But for that, we have a dedicated port, and that is port C. So we do have pins from PC0 to PC5 which are dedicated for analog pins. Port B and rest of the port, that is port B and port D, are used for digital input out digital world interfacing. Next, let's go ahead with the third question, and that is AVIA CPU has dash dash number of 16-bit registers, and we have already discussed about this. Almost every register is of 8-bit R0 to R31. All registers are of 8-bit in size, as our microcontroller is also of 8-bit in size. But here, if you look for, the question is asked for 16-bit register, then we do have a pair of register that can be used as a 16-bit register. So we do have R26 plus R27, then we do have R28 plus R29, and then we do have R28 so 29, then we do have R30 plus R31. So these are the pair of register 8 plus 8 which can be used as a 16-bit register, and this register is called as X, this is Y, and this is Z. So there are only 3 16-bit registers which are available in AVIA CPU. Next, the question was related with the size of timer 1 and counter 1. So this is a question based on architectural part. So yesterday, I think one of our faculty asked us that we don't have to cover the architecture part, no doubt, but questions can be asked based on the architectural part. So better way, you can go ahead with the architecture diagram, at least show them architecture diagram. But yes, 1 mark or 2 mark questions can be asked based on the architecture and its features. So obviously features are also get covered during that architecture part. So timer counter is a 16-bit timer. We do have 3 timers with us: TC0, TC1, and then third timer is TC2. So TC0 and TC2 timers are 8-bit timers, while TC1 timer is of 16-bit. So 16-bit is the correct answer for that question. And the next is, this is related with the our register, and that is the status register, or we can call it as a flag register, AVS. And we have also by hearted its long form. Some of you have given the shortcut methods for that. I generally used to remember it in this fashion: ITHSVNZC. So this is my sequence, which in the sequence which I used to remember. So 0 flag, if it bit is 1, so 0 flag. So yes, the result of arithmetic operation is 0. So that's why that bit is set equal to 1. So that's it from the quiz part. If anyone having doubt, you can ask in the chat section. And if you want to add something to the my explanation, then also you are always welcome. Otherwise, I can go ahead with the today's topic of interest. Today we are going to study about the LCD interfacing, LCD and the Arduino IDE interfacing. So if no doubt, then any one of you can reply in the chat section that yes, you can go ahead. Till that, I will draw the necessary interfacing diagram. So anybody having doubt in the explanation of the quiz, yesterday's quiz, today also you are going to face. Yeah, thank you, Prasad sir. Thank you, Bakliwal sir. Yes, no doubt, you must be enjoying all this session, but do write us about what do you enjoy most about our sessions, and do write it personally to Damne sir's mobile number, or you can write it on your WhatsApp group if you are having the faculty WhatsApp group as well. Okay, so let's focus on this, that LCD interfacing. So this is going to be a interesting part as well. And yes, after this, you will really going to enjoy about 16 by. There will be no any fear about the 16 by 2 LCD in your mind now. So 16 by 2 LCD interfacing we are going to study, and we are going to interface 16 by 2 LCD using with Atmega 328P. So suppose this is my Atmega 328P microcontroller. So we are going to interface 16 by 2 LCD. Now why it is called as 16 by 2 LCD, that also we are going to study. Here one more pin, and that should be connected to ground. Okay, so yes, I do have some pins, and yes, I would like to go with those pins. So the pins which I do have: register select, then read oblique write bar, and then third one is enable. And then this, let's have a structure of LCD first. Why it is called as 16 by 2 LCD? This LCD has internally, this on this LCD I can have a 6. Okay, let's not will make okay, I would like to have the structure over here, and then I would like to go with the interfacing diagram, because yes, I think I'm making a lot of things on the same diagram, so that's why it may not look good. So let's go ahead with the this kind of diagrams. So LCD has 8 pins first, 4 plus 4, 8 pins, and these 8 pins are called as data lines, and it is named in this fashion: D0 to D7. So this is D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6. So this is called as data lines. So these are the data lines which are used to receive the data by LCD. So always if you look at the D0 to D7, the data is coming towards the LCD. Always keep in mind, data is coming towards the LCD, and if you like to show this with the help of an arrow, then yes, it makes a sense that yes, someone is going to send data to this LCD. Otherwise, if you simply draw a straight line, then it will not make any significance. So make sure that you should show the diagrams in this fashion, that yes, someone is going to send the data to the LCD, and LCD is just an output device, so he is going to display the contents, the data which he is going to receive. So LCD has 8 data lines. Then LCD has 3 power supply line. One is VCC, then one is minus VEE, okay, and the third one is the ground, which is very important, and it is also called as VSS, source to source. And it has 3 control lines. And what are those 3 control lines are? We do have register select, then we do have read write, read oblique write bar, and third one is enable. So that's a very important thing. And now the doubt which everyone must have, that why it is called as 16 by 2. The answer is very simple. It has internally, this LCD can have a 16 columns and 2 rows. So I would like to draw that structure. So internally, just visualize about this, that yes, we do have a 16 columns with us. That means we can display 16 characters. Suppose I want to display something, then I do have, suppose I want to display SCOE. So this will get displayed onto the row 0. So first row is called as row 0, while second row is called as row 1. So there are 2 rows with us, and there are 16 columns with us. So column starts with C0 and ends with C15. So like that. So we can have the address in this fashion: C0 to actually CFH. Okay. The first column has an address of memory address of 80H, while last has 8FH. Similarly, the second row, first position had the address of C0H and end address of CFH, but diagram is overlapped. Ma'am, will you please reload your session? You can reload your page. Is that the case with everyone? Please let me know. Is diagram overlapped? Is that the case? Yes? No? Okay, so those who are facing that issue, you can reload or refresh the page from your side. Just reload or refresh the page of your browser. Okay, thank you everyone. So those who are facing an issue, you can reload your browser's page. So suppose I want to display SCOE, it will be displayed on row 0. Suppose I want to display Wikinote, then Wikinote I am going to display onto the second row. So in this fashion we can display the characters. So that's important. So for that I do have 3 control lines, which means these are called as control lines. These are called as power supply lines. So we do have 3 power supply line, 3 control lines and 8 data lines. Nowadays in the market there are 2 more pins attached with the LED, and one is that is called as backlight. So we do have 2 connections with us. One is LED plus and second one is LED minus. If student asks the question about this, then just let them know that these are the just backlight LED connections, and usually we keep it left open, or if you want to connect this, then LED plus should be connected to plus VCC and LED minus should be connected to ground. That's it. So this is SCOE and then followed by Wikinote. So these are the characters which I am going to display. So we don't have to bother about this all row 0, what is memory address and all. Just students should know about the external pins of this LCD. So yes, we have listed down those pins now. This LCD can be interfaced in 2 modes of operation. One mode of operation is called as 4-bit mode of operation, while second mode of operation is called as 8-bit mode of operation. So that's important. What do you mean by 4-bit mode and what do you mean by 8-bit mode of operation? So in case of 4-bit mode of operation, only 4 data lines are used for the collection of the data or reception of the data. In case of 8-bit mode, we have to use all 8 data lines. 8 data lines are used for reception of data, and in case of 4-bit mode, you have to use 4 data lines. So in the Arduino IDE library, we do have inbuilt program for 4-bit mode of operation of LCD. So we are going to go with 4-bit mode of operation. And there is one more advantage of 4-bit mode of operation, that yes, we don't have to go with 8 data lines. So obviously 4 data lines are going to be left open or left unconnected, so that we can use those 4 data lines for rest of the interfacing with any external word device. So that's the one of the advantage of 4-bit mode of operation. So if anybody have doubt, we can again go back to this. Yes, let interface now. Yes, the diagram is in front of you now. So ATmega 328p, but just don't make don't draw the blocks like this. Your blocks should have some meaning. So ATmega 320p has 2 VCC pins, then it has 3 pins which are connected to ground, then it has 2 pins which are connected to the crystal oscillator. So make sure that your minimum connection diagram should be proper, because until and unless we provide the power supply connection to your microcontroller, it won't work. So similarly, for this LCD as well, we have to connect like this: plus VCC, then here that will be a minus VEE, and then last one is the ground, which is connected, that pin is VSS, which is connected to ground. And here, yes, obviously we do have 8 data lines with us. And now I have told you we are going to use the 4-bit mode of operation. And why we are going to use 4-bit mode of operation, that point also I have explained, that yes, we do have inbuilt library, and in inbuilt library we have to deal with only the 8-bit mode of operation. So just have an interfacing diagram first, and then we'll have the explanation of the code and the algorithm. After that, we'll also go for the simulation in terms of Proteus. So just concentrate here. I'm drawing the interfacing diagram. Make sure that your diagrams, your answers are more valuable. Students should also realize that yes, we have to make answer more valuable. So as now stated, data is going to received by the LCD. So make sure that the lines should be, data is coming towards the LCD. Show that direction. That's very important. Control lines, these are going, this LCD is going to get controlled by the microcontroller. So this is also the incoming arrows, you can say. And yes, which pins we have to use? Anybody, would you like to tell this? Which pins we have to use here? Which pins? D0 to D7 or D4 to D7? Yes, yes, good, great. So this pins we have to use D5, D4, D5, D6 and D7. So everybody hope you have now understood the concept that why we are using the 4, and these 4s are left unconnected. Just show them with the help of a cross. So D0 to D3 are left unconnected. And also make sure that the direction of the arrows is important. So yes, we are done with the interfacing part now. Now we have to go for the code. And for the first, I would like to go with the code, and after the code, we'll go for the algorithm. But I'm sure that you are going to enjoy the code part. So obviously, you can have the comments, and after the comments, you will realize that yes, we can write the same comments into the algorithm parts. So keep in mind why Arduinos are very popular, that I have told you in the first section, first session, that yes, we have to include the inbuilt library, that is liquidcrystal.h. So if you include that hash include liquidcrystal.h library, then rest of the things are very simple for you. You have to just provide what data you have to print, and you have to tell which interfacing pins you have to go for. So here I am going to interface digital pin number 8, digital pin number 9, then digital pin number 10, 11, 12, 13. So this 6 digital pins I have to use. If I would have go for the 8-bit operation, then I have to use more 8 pins. So 8 plus 2, so almost there are only 14 digital pins available in Arduino Atmega 328P, and out of that I'm using 10 pins. So only 4 pins can be used for the rest of the operation. So this is quite injustice with the Arduino, and so that's why we go with the 4 lines only. So let's have a code first. So for that, I would like to share the screen and code with me. So I'm sharing the laptop screen. It may take a bit of time lag of I would say 5 seconds to get those things get displayed onto your screen. So once it starts displaying, let me know whether the screen is visible. Let me know in the chat section that yes, screen is visible and the code is also visible. For saving our time, I have just written the code into the notepad. Okay, great. So now let's focus onto the code now. Let's focus onto the code. The first part, as I said at the start, that yes, we have to go with hash include liquid crystal.h. Only this header file we have to add, and after that here you can see the interfacing pins which I have to use. Now you know that digital pin number 8, what is role of 8, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13. So only 6 this 6 pins I am using. So liquid crystal LCD in bracket, name of those pins. Now we know that our structure sketch is always starts with two functions, basic structure, void setup and void loop. So in the void setup, we have to make initialization. So as we know that our LCD is 16 by 2 LCD, this 2 indicates number of rows, this 16 indicates number of columns. So the function which is inbuilt in Arduino IDE, the function name is lcd.begin in bracket 16 by 2. So it indicates that we are initializing the 16 by 2 LCD. So that's it. So we have initialized the LCD, and now LCD has been programmed in order to receive the input for the display and all. Next, in the void loop, so what you have to print now? So here at the very first you can see the instruction is LCD dot set cursor. Now yesterday I told you about this. Arduino IDE has its inbuilt functions, so that's why we can't change the syntax of the function. So here C is capital while rest of the letters are in small. LCD dot set cursor in bracket 0, 0. Now this 0 indicates the row number while this 0 indicates the column number. Please make sure that it's a bit confusing. for you as well and student as well. So this 0 is belong to the row number. So you can see that this row number can vary only between 0 and 1. As I earlier stated that we do have row 0 and row 1, and this belongs to the column number. So 0 and 2. So lcd.setCursor 0, 0, it indicates that we are forcing cursor to blink at row 0, column 0 position. Here I have written that row 0 and column 0 position. Then lcd.print function will print the value onto the LCD screen, and the words are SCOE. Next is LCD set.cursor 2, 1. So here also I am setting the cursor forcefully onto the second row, and this is now C2. So C2 means it's going to be a third position. Okay, I will make sure you won't get confused about that. Then again LCD print dot Wikinode. So yes, it will display, and we will go for compiling this code into the Arduino IDE. So I'm going to select this, copy this. I would like to open Arduino IDE software, and into the Arduino IDE I'm going to write down this code, and I'm going to compile this code. Yesterday we are done with the LED interfacing. Today we are going with the LCD interfacing. We have completed LED interfacing part. So just copy the code into this. Now you know the procedure about this very well. So just save the code. So I would like to save the code into the simulation. So into the simulation I'm going to store this. Yes, just save the code, and after that verify the code. If there are any errors into the code, then it will show an error. If not, then its hex inode.hex is going to be generated. So it's showing me the process of compiling and all. Okay, so done with this. So this is going to be our file that I have to copy now. .eno.hex file. So this is I'm going to copy, but before that I should have the interface diagram with me. So I would like to go with the Proteus 8. So I would like to try Tinkercad, which I'm going to use, so that everyone will have the idea about the Tinkercad as well. I won't promise, but yes, I would like to try with the Tinkercad as well, that I can. Okay, so I would like to open the Proteus. The project is already in front of me. So here I would like to go with the zoom in screen. So this is yesterday's project, and I'm just going to change the contents now. So here the session is not about how to display the data using onto the LCD. If you are interested, then we can have a separate session for Proteus and interfacing as well. So I'm going to search for 16:2 LCD, and yes, I do have an alphanumeric LCD, and I'm going to place that over here. So here I would like to have the pins and their interfacing. So just I would like to connect this D13 with D17, then digital pin number 12 to D6, then 11 to the D5, 10 number to the D4. Okay, and 9 number pin I'm going to D8 number I'm going to connect with RS, while 9 number I'm going to connect with enable. So RS is connected to the 8 number, and read write should be connected to ground. So I should have the terminals, and yes, I would like to go with the terminals. That is, sorry. Okay, I would like to go with the ground, and I'm going to connect this ground with the read write pin. So this is just a simulation. Now you will ask why you haven't connected VCC, why you haven't connected the crystal oscillator, etc. That doubt will be in your mind, but no need to connect, as this is a simulation. This is not a hardware kit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy the eno.hex file from the Arduino IDE, and I'm going to provide this as a path to the Arduino program file. So here I'm going to copy the path. Okay, and once it is done, just click on OK and then hit the run button. So yes, can you see the word SCOE and Wikinote? Now what's the difference? I have shifted the second row letter, that is Wikinote, has been shifted by 2 position. So that's the important point, that we can display 16 characters on a single row while 16 characters on a second row as well. So that's it. So this is a 4-bit mode of operation of 16 by 2 LCD. So hope you have understood the concept now about LCD interfacing. If yes, I can go ahead with the next point of interest. Please let me know in the chat section whether it's visible and whether you have understood the part as well. Okay, thank you, Gujal sir, Varsha ma'am. Yeah. So if this you teach these things to the student, obviously this is not part of syllabi, but obviously they will going to enjoy this part, and it will create interest in their mind for studying this subject. Okay, so if anybody is interested, means out of our faculties, then we can arrange the Proteus 8 simulation and its separate sessions for the faculties. Or I would like to go with Tinkercad as well, because the Professor Dhamne sir has already asked me to go with the Tinkercad. Yes, it's an open source software. So yes, obviously I would like to try with that with the help of Tinkercad. Okay, so let's have the next topic of interest, and that's UART communication. And yes, serial communication is always going to be a challenge for the because to the serial communication, we don't know whether actually what kind of part should be taught to the student. So here I have made an interfacing diagram. This is also available on our website onto the Wikinote, and is in front of you. So this is the diagram for serial communication. Now the question comes into the mind, into the syllabus. It is asked that display onto the, if you look at the practical lab, in that it is asked to display the data onto the serial monitor. So display is going to be the laptop's display, or otherwise it's going to be a desktop PC's display. So the diagram for serial communication is in front of you. So make sure that it's completely visible, and I'm going to elaborate about this serial communication. Okay, so in case of serial communication, we do have okay, I haven't asked you that, and we are done with the 16 by 2 LCD part. Anybody is having doubt, they can ask into the chat section. You have 10 seconds to ask with respect to LCD and all. Till that point, I would like to go with the diagram completion. So if you are having any doubt with respect to the LCD part, then you can ask in the chat section. Anything which I haven't explained, you can ask me. Okay, great. If not, then it's great for me as well, so that I can go ahead. Yes. Now, in our syllabus, we do have one UART circuitry, UART and serial communication. Under that topic, we have to cover these points now, UART and serial communication. So make sure that we have to perform the serial communication, and I have drawn the proper interfacing diagram for the same. If you just simply connect the Arduino board with CPU, then that diagram don't have any meaning. Best way, make sure that students should know about this, what is important in order to have communication. See, right now I am speaking in English, you're understanding what I am teaching. Okay, so here the communication language is English, and you understand English, so and even I can speak English, so that's important. So if Atmega 328p is also speaking in English, then CPU must understand English. If CPU don't know about the English language, if he only understands Hindi or Marathi, I would say, then there should be a translator in between them. And that translator here is going to be FT232. So what is role of this FT232? So this FT232 translates the language or the communication protocol. He receives that from PC side, then converts it into the appropriate level for ATmega 328p, while when it receives the data from ATmega, then it again translates it, and which is the proper language for PC side. So make sure that what is important here. So in technical way, I would like to go with PC side. So PC side always use the protocol whose name is RS232. We can call it as a language. Okay. And here, yes, absolutely correct, Bakliwal sir. UART or USART. Actually, in ATmega 328p, we are having a module called as USART module, Universal Synchronous Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter module. No doubt about that. There is only single module present in ATmega 328p. But in syllabus, they have mentioned us about UART. Okay. So we are here about the study of serial communication. If you look at the USART circuitry, if I have to use the word USART, then this S stands for synchronous communication. And in synchronous communication, we have to deal with the parallel communication. And we are not expected to teach these points to the student. We are supposed to teach only asynchronous communication, and asynchronous means this is going to be a serial communication. So please stick to the syllabus point. Yes, definitely. So please stick to the syllabus point, and don't go further from the syllabus point. That's from my side. If anybody want to add some point, you can add in the chat section. Or I would like to ask Dhamne sir, sir, do you want to focus on this topic? Do you want to throw some light on this topic?
Hello.
Yes.
I did not get the question. Means, what is the problem in continuing?
Okay. So, sir, it's actually onto the one I would like to elaborate. And, I would like to ask you to address uh, into the architecture part. There is a module called as USART module, and under that USART module, we can perform two purposes. One is we can perform a serial communication, and we can perform a parallel communication. So for the parallel communication, we have the USART circuitry, means that synchronous part as well plays a role, and in case of serial, just a UART plays a role, universal asynchronous receiver transmitter. So as in the syllabus, only UART and serial communication is mentioned, so we'll not focus on the synchronous part. So that's the point of, that's the question, that yes, we should stick to the syllabus. So please have words on this.
Hello. I think that in a refresher course we may go through it, because in lectures also some students, I say not every other student, but at least 5% of the students, those who update themselves or they try to get additional information, they may ask such questions during lectures. So here we may continue with that. Okay. And during classes, you may stick to syllabi lines, but if some student raises a question, it is our duty to answer him in the right way. So I don't think there is any problem in continuing right now. Okay. I hope that clarifies, or still the difficulty is there in your mind. Remember that not each and every word can be mentioned in syllabi. Okay. So we don't take it that way, that like in syllabi this word is not mentioned. So it will create problems otherwise, because not just these two units, but everywhere you will face such problems then. Because not everything can be mentioned, not each and every word can be mentioned in syllabus. Still, we have tried our best to put up as many words as possible. But in such cases, we must continue with what I feel. Okay, please carry on, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir, for clarifying our doubt. Yes, we have to stick with the points which are mentioned in the syllabus, and yes, you can tell students about difference between serial and parallel communication, and why we are going with the serial communication. Obviously, in order to have communication with PC, if you take down any microcontroller, it always performs the serial communication, never it performs the parallel communication. Parallel communication only does utilize in interfacing with ADCs, then digital to analog converters and all. Make sure that student know about this, that in case of parallel communication, the devices which we have to interface are the ADCs, DAC, etc. While in case of UART communication, we always interface that with the help of PC. So we have to go with this PC. Uh, so let's have the so this is discussing about the translator, and FT232 is going to be a translator. Your PC works on RS232 protocol, that's the language of communication which PC uses, while Atmega 328P uses the language of communication, and that language is called as transistor logic, TTL logic. So two languages are different, and there should be a mediator or translator in between them, and that mediator is FT232. So role of FT232 is to convert the TTL logic into the RS232 and vice versa. That's it. So make sure that the role of FT232 is always important for the students as well. Here you will find out the USB port, and you have seen this into the general purpose Arduino board, and here we do have only two lines, and for the serial communication we have to use RxD and TxD, that is for reception purpose and that is for transmission purpose. So make sure that TxD line will show the data in this fashion, data is going outside, and RxD data is coming towards the microcontroller in this fashion. So that's the important point over here, area of interest, and we know that D0 and D1, digital pin number 0, digital pin number 1 are used for this. In order to have the interface, now keep in mind, if you look at the Arduino board, then entire Arduino board has this much things on a single board. See, this blue color rectangle which I have drawn right now, everything is present on a single board. And this is a separate section, this PC and CPU, sorry, it's display and CPU is a different part. Here they are different, and we are interfacing that with the help of a single cable. So this is a USB cable, this black color, the this is called as USB cable, the highlighted black here. So this black cable is called as a USB cable. So USB to serial communication is done via this cable. So that's the important point of interest over here, that we are performing serial communication, and that through UART. Now, which are the basic Arduino IDE functions which supports the serial communication, or which will help in to have the serial communication? So if suppose I want to display something onto the display screen or monitor screen of the PC, then I have a software called as Arduino IDE, and into that software I have to go into the tools section, and into the tools section I will find out the option for serial monitor. So that onto that serial monitor screen we are going to display the data which is going to be transmitted by Atmega 328P. So suppose your Atmega 328P is sending the data, then CPU is going to receive the data, and that data is going to be displayed onto the serial monitor window of your laptop or your desktop PC screen. That's it. This is the simplest working of the UART communication. So interfacing diagram should be proper, and let's focus on the Arduino IDE inbuilt function. So the functions are, what are the functions which are carried out, and even for the practical purpose I have shown this. So here we know that we do have only two basic structure, void setup and void loop. So here you will find out serial.begin command. Here S is capital again, serial.begin. So serial.begin in bracket 9600. Now the question comes into the mind, what is this 9600? So this 9600 is called as a baud rate. This is the rate at which the date is being transmitted by the microcontroller towards the PC. Okay, now again the question comes into the mind, why this baud rate is important. So that is that your CPU operates at almost in terms of gigahertz frequency. If you look at the characteristics of your CPU, it works almost with 2.2 gigahertz of frequency, while your Atmega 328P works on 16 megahertz frequency. So there is a huge difference between the operating speed of these two devices. So what is the role of this serial.begin 9600? So 9600 make ensure us that no, FT232 is on Arduino board. It's not on the PC side. Already I have communicated this, I have taught this, and even the rectangle shown onto the Arduino board is important here. So I think there was no any point in asking the same question again, Bakliwal sir. Okay, so this is 16 megahertz and this is 2.2 gigahertz. So this 2.2 gigahertz frequency, that's the highest operating speed of your CPU, and here it's a 16 megahertz frequency. So we have to match up their speed. If he is transmitting the data at this much frequency and his operating speed is 2.2 gigahertz, then it will be a huge difference between them. So make sure that the data has been transmitted at this much data rate, and your PC should also receive the data at same baud rate. So that's the importance of the baud rate over here. The question which you have asked, FT232 is onto the Arduino board. And even you can check that on your Arduino board if you are having Arduino board, or you can check that from the lab, college lab as well. So here serial.begin, I have explained about this 9600. Now we do have inbuilt functions such as serial.println, then delay, and see here this is the snapshot of the Arduino IDE screen. Here you will find out tools, and into the tools you will find out the serial monitor window, and we can display the data hello world on to the which are readings Arduino ID functions. So these are the inbuilt functions used for serial communication. So we are using them for the serial communication. So first function is begin. So serial.begin. So here we have already used that serial.begin in bracket speed. So we have given it as a 9600, and also it will enable the role of the RxD and TxD pin. And we know that for RxD we have to use digital pin 0, and for the TxD we have to use D1 pin. So it will enable the role of D0 and D1 pin for reception of data and transmission of data at this much speed, and that speed is 9600. So we can have different baud rates. You can see the baud rates are in this fashion, 300, 600, like this, till 1,15,200, like this. So this is the syntax. So make sure that students know about the syntax of this Arduino IDE function and functions performed by those inbuilt functions. So syntax is important, and syntax here I have mentioned about the syntax, and into the description you can have 1 or 2 line of its description. If you are explaining that with the help of an example, then it would be a better than good. Okay, next we do have the next, that is end. So the way we have begin, let's have the end to the communication. So serial dot end, this will disable the serial communication and it will release the D0 and D1 pin from the role of RxD and TXD. That's it. So here I have explained that disables the serial communication and allowing TX and RX to be used as a general purpose input output pins. So we are done with this. Any doubt till this point? You can ask in the chat section. You have 10 seconds to ask. Hope you all are enjoying the session. At any point of time, if you find you want to share your thoughts as well onto the topics which I am teaching, you are always welcome. Yes, we are here to brush up our knowledge. Thank you all. So let's go ahead then about the serial dot available. So into the serial dot available, the data which we are going to receive, that's important, and that will be done through the serial dot available function. This is the inbuilt Arduino IDE function. So what is its role? Its role is to gauge the number of bytes or characters available for reading from the serial port, and it has the inbuilt receive buffer which can hold almost 64 bytes of data. So function and its syntax, description and its syntax. So what is role of available, serial dot available, and what is its description? So these 2 points should be discussed with the student. Usually this kind of questions asked for in the previous exam, they were asked for the 2 marks. So at least make sure that student know about this. We are done with this. Now again, about serial communication, the doubt comes into the mind. This is not mentioned into the syllabus, but yes, it's a, though each and word is, as Dhamne sir told, each and every word is not mentioned in the syllabus, but what are the necessary things which should be discussed with respect to that syllabus point, that must be incorporated in your syllabus. So that's important things. Next is serial dot print. So what is role of this serial dot print? What is its syntax? So it's simple, serial dot print. So if I want to display something onto the serial monitor screen, now make sure that students mostly get confused because they know about the LCD programming. Now they know about the serial communication programming. Then they may get confused because in case of LCD, we have used the command lcd.print. So the command was like this, lcd.print. Now here I am using the display of our PC or laptop. So that's why my function is serial.print. So make sure that students know about the syntax of lcd.print as well. They know the difference of serial.print as well. So if I am writing 78, this 78 will as it is get displayed onto the screen. Great. Here you can see serial.print hello world. So it will display the output hello world. Not this, one important thing, this double quoted marks are not visible onto the display screen. Only the value which is present inside that double quotes gets displayed onto the screen. Here I have made that mistake. Hello world gives hello world. This is just a typo. So just only hello world will get displayed onto the screen. So that is serial print, and one more function which is used along with serial print, and that function is serial print.ln. Print ln. So what is use of this ln? So this ln is stands for new line, n stands for new, and l stands for line. So this is new line. So after displaying certain things, suppose this is a serial monitor window, then after displaying something, suppose I have displayed onto the first line, I have displayed hello. So after displaying that character, if again I am calling particular instruction, then my cursor will always start blinking onto the next line. It is just like your enter sign. When you use the notepad, then you just use a enter sign to go on to the next line, so your cursor blinks onto the next line. So similarly, if I'm using serial.println and I want to display the string hello, then its significance is I'm displaying the hello here, and after the displaying that character, the cursor will not point over here, it will not blink over here, rather it will start blinking onto the next line. That's it. So that's serial.println. Along with serial, mostly it is used println. So the displaying the data, serial.print, serial.println and all. And we are remaining with the ADC in Atmega 328p. So shall I continue with the ADC in Atmega 328p? Hardly it will take 10 minutes to complete, because I'm going to just touch the concept of ADC. I'm not going to have detailed explanation of all the registers and all. So shall I go ahead, or rather we can or otherwise we can have if I can cover this today, then it will help me in continuing with the in tomorrow. The tomorrow session is we can have on, and so some of you are asking me to continue on tomorrow, but again the tomorrow session will be a rather a lengthy session. So those who are having problems, sorry, like 10 ma'am, hardly it will take 10 minutes. You can delay your lecture if possible, because if I won't complete this topic today, then it maybe I'm not able to wind up the session tomorrow, this course tomorrow. Yeah, thank you everyone. So please cooperate. So let's focus on the ADC, internal ADC in Atmega 328p. So let's have a focus on ADC in Atmega 328p, and that's important. So mostly okay, that's an honor for me that you are having such kind of comments that we don't want to miss. Yes, really, but as I have to restrict myself within the time limits as well, because I don't want to extend this course. We have promised this course for the 5 days, and yes, I don't want to. Yes, tomorrow, yes, most of the things will get revised tomorrow, sir, because tomorrow I'm going to have the interfacing of LM35U, then I'm going to have interfacing of strain gauge, and then as well as LVDT as well. So all this needs the interfacing of ADC. So I can revise that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Damne sir, for allowing us to continue. So let's focus on ADC in Atmega. ADC in Atmega 328p. So that's important. But before that, just have some idea about ADC. This ADC, see, in stands for this ADC is present inbuilt and inside Atmega 328p. So that's very important. And I would like to draw that with the help of simple diagram. So suppose this is going to be our ADC. So this is going to be our, sorry, this is Atmega 328p microcontroller. So this is Atmega 328p microcontroller, and inside that Atmega 328p microcontroller, I do have a internal ADC. So just let's focus on this. So this is internal ADC. So this is present on chip inside the Atmega 328p microcontroller. But before studying internal ADC, I would like to revise some points about the ADC and what are the points which that ADC will have, that I would like to focus on. So here I have drawn the separate diagram for the ADC. So this is going to be a ADC, and what does this ADC have? What are the necessary pins the ADC must have? and we are going to incorporate this entire block inside the Atmega 328P. So let's get started. Here ADC, its long form is analog to digital conversion. So that means he's going to receive the analog input and he's going to provide us the digital output as well. So this is going to be a pin called as digital out, and this is going to be our internal ADC. So internal ADC will have the channels from A0, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, A7. So right now I have drawn the diagram for analog input channel. So these are the analog input channel. Its role is to receive the analog input data. And here we can have 6 or 8 analog input channel based on the 28 pin package or 32 pin package. So here again, now ADC, digital out. So this internal ADC which Atmega 328P has, it is having a 10 bits of resolution. So what this mean by 10-bit resolution? That means it will provide the output in 10-bit digital form. So 10-bit digital form, that will be our output. And if suppose I am receiving certain data into the analog form, then that data gets converted into the digital form, that is in terms of digital words, and that data result is always in terms of 10-bit. Always keep in mind. What are the necessary pins now? Let's focus on this. So ADC has V reference plus, next is V reference minus, then we do have the pins called as the ground, V reference minus, V reference plus. Then in order to select one of the analog input channel, we do have the 3 select lines with us. So S2, S1, S0, these are the select lines which are useful in order to select a particular analog input channel. Then as your ADC is performing a conversion of analog to digital, then it has a signal called as A to D clock frequency. So that is very important. Every as I told you that this is acts as a like a clock frequency, like a heartbeats. So ADC receives the heartbeats through this A to D clock frequency section. Then you will have ADC don't have his own decision. Then someone has to tell him, let's start with the conversion. So SOC called as start of conversion, and ADC itself tells us after, means once we are done with the analog to digital conversion, then ADC tells us about it notifies us with the help of signal called as end of conversion. So these are the necessary signals that one ADC should have. So I'm not going to discuss about the registers and all. You are supposed to teach the registers to the students as well. So into the ADC, we know that this V reference voltage won't go beyond 0 to 5 volts. We can receive through this analog input channels, we can receive the data, and that data is only in the range of 0 to 5 volt. So suppose here I would like to make a table that I do have the analog input voltage. So that analog input voltage, and then I would like to have the digital value, 10-bit digital value. So what is going to be that digital value? 10-bit digital value. And here to write that must be teach to the student. So first we have to teach that. So analog input voltage, it might be 0 volt. So it will be displayed by, as it is stated, this 0 volt is coming through the analog input channel, and we get the 10-bit converted value, and that value is 0. I always used to prefer with the group of 4. So 4, 4, 4. So 4 bit plus this 4 bit plus 2 bits. So this is going to be a 10 bits, and this is going to be our binary value. And here in terms of decimal value, this is going to be 0 in decimal. So if my value is now third, I would like to go with third. You will say why I have skipped second, and you will come to know about that. So suppose the value is 5 volt, then it will get displayed by 10 ones. And here that value is going to be 1023 in terms of decimal. So now my question is, Suppose the voltage is 2.5 volt, analog input voltage which is coming towards the ADC is 2.5 volt, then what should be your decimal value? And what should be your digital value as well? This is the question for all the participants who are listening. You can calculate this. Yeah, correct, Bhavsa sir. So it's going to be an 512. So this is a midway value. So in between 0 to 2.5 volt, there will be a voltages. In between 2.5 to 5 volt, there will be again voltages. So every single voltage value will be displayed by a particular binary value as well as a particular decimal value. So yes, we have seen that function, and I'm going to teach you about that function again tomorrow. Okay, so we are done with this, and for that now you will say, sir, you have by hearted this values, and how did you get these values? So yesterday also I have explained that concept, that what is the formula for that. So analog input voltage. So I have told you this formula, and make sure that you are explaining this formula to the students as well. Analog input voltage is equal to 10-bit digital value. This formula is very important. 10-bit digital value divided by the resolution of ADC, and resolution multiplied by V reference voltage. Okay, and this is 10-bit digital value divided by resolution. So make sure that you can have that value as well. So suppose, as I asked you the question, upon 2.5 volt is the voltage which I have given, multiplied by resolution we can take down this value as 1023. Okay, 2 raised to n minus 1, and divided by this V reference voltage value. So V reference value, if I would like to take down the V reference value, sorry, this is 10-bit digital value which is unknown for me, 10-bit digital value, and this is V reference is 5 volt. So just make the calculation, you will get the value of this value in terms of decimal. This is not a digital value, this is decimal value, and you have to just convert this decimal value in terms of binary. That's it. So hope everyone have understood now the concept of the ADC, and this ADC is incorporated in your not just this ADC to the status register. These are the registers which should be, we expected that the faculty should teach this to the students. I'm not going to cover this part because I have the time limit, and I could not go with this kind of registers and their explanation and their bit. You have almost 7 hours to teach a particular unit, and I am completing this within 3 hours. So please cooperate with me. So you can teach this part, and even if you are finding it difficult, so make sure that I would like to share the laptop screen. So I would like to go with the screen sharing, and onto that I would like to tell you that from where you are going to get this data. So I'm sharing the laptop screen. You have to go onto the Wikinode.org website. Electrical and Electronics Engineering 2019 course, and here at the left hand side you will find out 3 horizontal lines. These 3 horizontal lines defines us about the drawer. So go into the unit 2. Into the unit 2 you will find out the notes for ADC in Atmega 328p. So just click on ADC in Atmega 328p. Here features of ADC has been listed down. Then followed by, you will also get the video lectures of mine. In that I have told you about inbuilt IDE features. Then we do have ADC block diagram. Then followed by, you have the blocks called as pre-scaling. And then, okay, so the registers which I was speaking about, ADC control and status register, then you should teach students about AD mux register. Then you should teach students about the ADCL and ADCH register, that is data register. Then A to D is control and status register B. So these are the registers which are available, and the last not but least, digital input disable register. So these things should be, you should discuss these things with the students, and you can have the video tutorial as well for your reference. All these things are present on our website wikinote.org, and these are free of cost. Okay, so let's have focus on our session now. So please ask if you are having any doubt. In 28p features are also present on the website. Its accuracy, its integrity, its operating speed and all. So you have 10 seconds to ask. You can ask in the chat section. Okay. And I would like to request each and every faculty who are attending the session, please make sure that you write about us. Did you like the sessions which we have conducted? And please do comment out this to the Dhamne sir personally. And in the tomorrow session, we are going to complete the LM35 strain gauge and LVDT interfacing diagrams as well. Yes, no doubt. Thank you, Bakliwal sir, for showing the interest. Today also you are going to face a quiz, and after the quiz